Whether it's with a mate or best friend, supportive and understanding relationships are essential to our happiness. And in business, that principle can make the difference between success and failure. I'm Nelson Davis, executive producer of Making It. When a business owner is looking for guidance and help, a banking relationship can become priority number one. The goal is to establish yourself as more than just a credit score. In today's show, you'll meet two entrepreneurs. One is helping build a museum. The other is an architect, and you'll see how they have combined building and banking. Making It, featuring inspiring personal stories of struggle, triumph, and success from America's small business communities.
Welcome to Making It. I'm Lynette Romero.
And I'm Emmett Miller. As a top designer in the field of architecture, Roland A. Wiley understands that the most important part to any structure is the foundation, building a secure foundation. So when he started his own firm, Raw International, he knew that it was just as important to lay the groundwork for a solid relationship with his bank.
Roland started his architectural career at a prestigious firm in Los Angeles. He soon realized that many of his visions would never leave the sketch pad. Well, that's when he became an entrepreneur. What began as a small business in a makeshift office has now flourished into a multi-million-dollar company. Raw International has designed projects for renowned organizations like Los Angeles World Airports and DreamWorks Studio.
As an architect, Roland Wiley's got no problem keeping the creative juices flowing, but maintaining working capital isn't so easy. 2004 dealt him several business blows. One of his longtime partners left the firm, and then the company lost its biggest client.
Through the setbacks, he's been able to rely on Bank of America to help develop a strategic plan to solidify his business future.
What I enjoy most about creating an architecture is just that, is creating and the passion of creating.
It was this passion that was the driving force that led Roland Wiley to leave a renowned architectural firm to start his own business. Most of his experience had been with skyscrapers.
I made an assumption that doors of opportunity would be open to me once I started my own firm in projects of that similar nature. Well, that was the rude awakening. Our opportunities were extremely limited in the beginning. The bulk of our work was restroom remodels.
From the restroom, they expanded to doing the hallway outside of the restroom and then to the reception area leading to the hallway. It was a beginning built on baby steps, but still something to be proud of.
The early days, 22 years ago almost, 1984, was fun, actually. We started out in a very small room, and we, as my partner Steve Lott, who I met at Gruen Associates, and he was like my mentor in terms of learning the ways of Los Angeles, and me being a country bumpkin from Indiana, we developed a very close friendship. And Steve had left Gruen earlier to start entrepreneurial ventures, and he had a traffic school. He had started a series of traffic schools. So he had a classroom. He said I could use that as our first office. But it was all I needed to put in a couple of drafting tables and hang a Raw Architecture sign on the door, and it was on.
2 months into the business, a mutual friend who was also an architect moved back into town. He connected with Roland and decided to join the firm.
By the second year in business, we had pretty much doubled in size. We were getting projects. We had 2 employees looking for a third. I mean, things were rolling, and we just felt that we just had a tremendous future. The opportunities were coming, and we will get to that level that we had envisioned as an architectural firm, making our mark out there in the great skyline of Los Angeles.
Over the years, Raw International has built quite a portfolio.
Some of the projects I'm most proud of, there are quite a few. Compton Community College Learning Resource Center. Steve Lott is the design partner of the firm, and he's designed several projects. One in particular is the Motown corporate headquarters.
Other projects include offices in Beverly Hills, a project for film director Spike Lee, a courthouse, and community buildings. One of the things that Roland has done to strengthen his business was to build a better banking relationship with Bank of America.
We have a $250,000 line of credit with Bank of America, and we need every dime of that. Our business has evolved to work with a lot of public agencies. And the pay cycle for public agencies is on contract 60 or 90 days, and sometimes it takes 120, 180 days before we get paid.
After a lengthy span of success, Roland hit not just one brick wall, but several. One of the partners, Steve Lewis, got a job that he couldn't pass up and left the company.
Now we have to figure out how to sustain the company with a third leg missing. And that's something that's very difficult that we were not prepared for. We move on into August of that year, and we get a 6-week notice from Los Angeles World Airport that our major contract is going to expire and will not be renewed. What this meant was 50% of our income would be shut down in 6 weeks. But the contract with Los Angeles World Airport was very profitable. So that represented about 80% of our profit. That sent shockwaves through our company. Morale went down. People started being concerned about their job security. The partnership took a big hit, and all of a sudden we don't have Steve Lewis as that third leg to kind of absorb it all and process it the way we're used to processing challenges.
An important part of transforming their business has been with the help of Bank of America.
They are our banker, and they have been the best banker that we have had. We left other banks because we didn't have a relationship. We were simply a name and a number. Bank of America has taken proactive stances in communicating with us, in advising us in terms of our financial stability. And one of the things that's very important is when you get in trouble, like we're in trouble today, you need a friend and a relationship with the bank. We have developed a personal relationship with our banker, Lisa Mazzola, who takes proactive measures in terms of contacting us, communicating with us, and helping us to plan our business and how it might develop.
I believe all of our clients, and specifically in this case Raw International, expect us to be with them every step of the way. We want to celebrate their success, but also work with them throughout their lifespan of their business.
I see this as an opportunity to regroup, to refocus, and to rebuild.
Roland suggests other entrepreneurs spend time building sound alliances, not just golf partners, he says. He says it's really important to connect with people who are decision makers.
It's not uncommon for businesses to work through financial difficulties. Experts say the key is persistence. The Reverend Mark Whitlock has economic encouragement in our Secrets of Success.
How often have you heard somebody say, I don't have enough money to make it in business? Don't let the lack of financing hold back the dream that you've created that will create prosperity for you and others. Have you asked the questions that will lead to the financing? You know, the Bible says, ask not and you receive not. Have you asked your mother, your father, your sister, your brother for financing? Have you asked SBA for a guaranteed loan program? Have you gone to your local bank to talk with them about their small business financing? Have you talked to us at Nehemiah Financial, Inc. to help refinance your home or help finance your business? Ask not, you will receive not. Number 2, sit down and write your business plan. How much is your cash flow? How much are your expenditures? How much will you need to sustain your business? Number 3, finally, sit down and get out of your own way. Many cases, our mindset block our business blessing. Get out of your own way so that you will achieve success. Don't let your financial lack be your financial downfall.
Reverend Mark Whitlock is president of the Nehemiah Corporation. You can email him at markw@corchurch.org. And to hear more Secrets of Success, log on to our website at makingittv.com.
Beautiful art with no place to call home. The search is on for a new location for the Latino Museum. Find out how Bank of America is helping Stan Sosa showcase art and culture.
A meeting place for the small business community, Making It is being brought to you by Bank of America, Higher Standards, by Honda, the Power of Dreams, and by Southern California Edison. For over 100 years, life powered by Edison.
And welcome back to Making It. The Latino population is one of the fastest growing in America. 1 in 8 Americans is of Hispanic descent. However, when it comes to buying art, only about 7% of them actually own any, compared to 20% of the overall population. The Latino Museum in Los Angeles is hoping to change those figures. It's a nonprofit corporation on a mission to exhibit art and educate young people about art and history.
Stan Sosa is a managing board member at the Latino Museum. While the artists are busy painting masterpieces, he's masterminding ideas to keep the museum operating successfully. The museum was asset-rich with a beautiful building to showcase their works, but they were also cash-poor and in debt. But then the city took the structure under eminent domain.
The good news is that brought in a much-needed $5 million. Since Bank of America donated the building to the museum, the money was a plus. The minus is that with no place to display it, the art sits in storage right now. Bank of America is working right now with the Latino Museum to help them locate another space and create and manage their own financial portfolio. Xiomara Galindo has the story.
14 years ago, the Latino Museum opened its doors for business, dedicated to celebrating the arts and achievements of Latinos throughout the U.S., America, and internationally. Throughout the years, the museum has faced many challenges. However, this unique business has partnered with a leading financial institution. Their relationship with Bank of America is more than just business.
Part of the mission is education. It helps that our board is very education-oriented. One of the things that we want to do is to make sure that the kids come to the museum and see the art, get some self-esteem. Key to this is the Tony Gleaton exhibition that we had. Almost 500 years is the title of that exhibition. It has to do with blacks in Mexico and Latin America. He documented the way they had mixed. The slave traders brought Africans into various parts of Latin America. This particular exhibition focuses on the people around Acapulco. And when we brought in kids to see the exhibition, they had comments like, "Why, that looks like my Uncle Jose." And many of them could see that, wow, I see, why do I have kinky hair?
What is the annual operating budget?
Right now, without a building and without a full staff, it's typically in the $100,000 range. When the museum was in full force, it's about $1 million a year.
How do you acquire all these pieces that end up there?
One way that we have used a lot is when we have exhibitions, the artists a lot of times will donate a piece to the museum. And another way is we have purchased art. The other way is on loan for an exhibition. People will loan to fill gaps in the exhibition.
I'm sure there's quite a bit of business that goes into all of this, the insurance, the liability that you take in doing this. Tell me about that.
There's all kinds of insurances that have to be paid, from liabilities, errors and omissions, artwork. When the artwork gets transported, or somebody loans or we bring art from there, that needs to be covered fully. The liability if somebody falls in the museum, getting sued, because an artist didn't authorize a release form. So insurances need to be fully across the board. It's one of the biggest expenses.
Stan, who does the board consist of?
Our board members are very deep into education. We've had board members that have been in theater, film. From that beginning, we also had a board member who was a vice president of the Bank of America. And it was through him that the Bank of America leased the building that was on 1st and Main, 25,000 square feet. And we put in like $600,000 to renovate it. Bank of America saw that we were serious about having a museum, and they turned the building over to us. They donated the building. We were at that building on 1st and Main for approximately 3-4 years. And then the city invoked eminent domain and took the building from us. However, the city did pay somewhat market price, maybe a little low, That gave us the endowment that we have right now that can help us either lease a building or acquire a new building.
Tell us about the unique business relationship that you have with Bank of America.
What we have really asked Bank of America for help is, for example, if we need to preserve our endowment, in the sense of the endowment is a diversified portfolio, meaning that some is in bonds, some is in stocks and so forth. So we're asking for for example, some way that we can have our cash once we start operating, like in a way that the cash is there handy for us to operate on. That way you keep the investment and the return on the investment as high as possible, but you can still operate with the cash that you need. We asked them to help us find a building, and so sometime back I was put in contact with Jones Lang LaSalle, person that was in charge of the various buildings and so forth, and they were looking for us for what buildings might be available. I think the key point that we have been looking for is to be in the education culture corridor, around where all the museums and the Kodak Theater, the Japanese, the MoCA, in the downtown area. I feel so confident that we really have these goals in mind and are working towards them very diligently.
That's a perfect place for them, accessible.
It really is, and they're filling such an important need. Great stuff.
The Latino Museum, in fact, is on a 5-year success plan right now. During that time, their goal is to obtain a new building, open up satellite museums in large Hispanic communities throughout California.
And coming up on Making It, he has a wealth of information to help businesses get on the right track. Rodney F. Banks is a business banking executive at Bank of America, and he joins us next, so don't go away.
Here's how you can get in contact with our featured entrepreneurs. Roland Wiley of Raw International can be reached at rawinternational.com. And Stan Sosa of the Latino Museum is at 323-780-7231.
And now here's Lynette with our studio guest.
Thanks, Emmett. There are several challenges to operating a business, and among them are growth and credit. The Right Banking Alliance could be the solution, and joining us now with more on that is Bank of America's Rod Banks. He's the business banking executive for the Pacific Southwest Division. Thanks for coming to the show. We appreciate
Lynette.
it.
Nice to be here.
Thank you. Now, obviously, fast growth can be just as bad as no growth at all. Can we talk about that a little bit?
We can. Well, it's nice to have growth. I think we'd all agree on that. And when you look at growth, though, I think what a banker can do is help you understand whether that's good growth or bad growth. And when I say bad growth, there can be times when you're really growing and you think you're doing well, but suddenly those receivables get tied up for a while. Your inventory starts to get big on you. You've got to make sure you've got the right amount of capital to grow. So I think the biggest thing a banker can do for you is help you understand that growth and how it's going to affect your business.
Now, a lot of us have heard about lines of credit. Let's
Right.
talk about the ins and outs of that business tool.
Okay. First thing about a line of credit, always remember this: you have to pay it back. I think a lot of people.
Darn.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of
It's
people.
not a gift.
No, it's not a gift.
It is not a gift.
But lines of credit can be as simple as a credit card. And if you think about it, a line of credit, typically, a lot of people start. A lot of small businesses, in particular, will start with a credit card. Especially in the days that we've just seen where rates are so low and people get a lot of these offers in the mail for 0% credit cards. That actually has spawned a lot of small businesses over the last few years. So probably the best way to get started is look at your credit card offers, be smart about it. You can actually put capital into your business using a credit card, but as you grow, you need to look at different sources, and you can come to the bank and you can get lines of credit based on your receivables, based on your inventory, and that's going to be the capital that helps you grow. And if you ever find yourself sort of in a permanent position where you can't pay that line down, then that's when you need to start looking for term debt tied to a hard asset within your company.
You really have to stay on top of it.
You do.
Now, we've been hearing that all businesses are about people and relationships. Right. Can you give us some advice about how to make that banking relationship the best?
the best advice I could give any business owner is get to know your banker. And I think a lot of times people get so busy in their own business, they neglect that point. If you know your banker really well and they know you, they can be one of the biggest advocates that you would have. So the first thing I do is invite the banker out. Give them that nickel tour. Let them know how you make money, how your business works. Give them the entire history, and also take the time to get to know your banker. Make sure that they are a decision maker within the company. Make sure that they understand your business, and make sure that they really do know business banking and how that will affect their growth.
So you should really be on a first name basis with your banker.
First name is perfect.
Okay. Now, import and export businesses obviously are very important in California. What are some of the services that Bank of America offers those?
Probably the biggest would be this. We have access to other banks in over 40 countries. And a lot of our customers tell us the name Bank of America will actually get you in the door to a lot of these other countries that are out there. But the biggest service that we can provide for you is to help you understand and how to maneuver in these countries that are there. We have people on the ground that can tell you exactly how to do things. Probably the first service you would need is a letter of credit, where if you're, for example, buying something from China, then you would be either issuing a letter of credit or receiving a letter of credit, and we can help you make that happen.
Now, your bank is ranked #1 in small business loans. Congratulations, that's great. How would you describe B of A's approach for small business customers?
Well, it's real simple. We have a passion for small business owners. If you look at the fabric of the economy, especially in Southern California, it is made up of small business owners everywhere. And frankly, our company wouldn't exist, and a lot of others wouldn't, if you didn't have all the small businesses out in the economy making things good like the economy that we have today. So we have a passion for it. We appreciate small business owners. We respect what they do. And so we try to tailor what we do as a bank around their needs. We're there for them. We've got, they tell us the most important thing to them is going to be service, it's going to be convenience, and it's going to be products.
It's not much different than dealing with just an individual person, a personal banker.
It really is. And I think most people choose a bank because they like to know that there's one sort of on every corner.
Right.
And businesses are the same way.
Right.
They're going to first choose a bank that's nearby. Once they do that and begin to open up their account, they're going to then try to find a banker to build a relationship with.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us. You've given us a lot of great tips. Thank you.
Thank you.
And coming up next on Making It, we'll tell you how to contact Bank of America, so stay with us.
Celebrating the entrepreneurial spirit, Making It is being brought to you by The Boeing Company and by Sempra Energy, a Fortune 500 energy services company committed to building a diverse supplier base.
And to reach Bank of America, contact John Manganiello, Senior Vice President and Business Banking Sales Manager. The number there, 213-621-7371, or email him at john.g.manganiello@bankofamerica.com.
And Making It has a place for business owners to exchange ideas. All you have to do is log on to www.makingittv.com for our Entrepreneurs Forum. You can also purchase a copy of today's show.
And that does it for this edition of Making It. I'm Emmett Miller.
And I'm Lynette Romero. See you next time right here on Making It.
That's the only thing is this art and this passion. We're not the best paid profession. The public doesn't really understand and appreciate what we do. We spend countless hours that we don't get paid for. And it's all about the passion that can get you up every morning and get you motivated to do what you have to do to make a difference